sure we understand everything. It's very short. After we do that, we are going to talk about the weather where we live. We're going to talk about how it is. We'll read it. The different seasons. We'll make sure we understand everything. Spring and summer, winter. After we do that, we are going to have a long discussion about weather and maybe some other weather events. So by the end of the lesson, you will be able to discuss the weather where you live and where other people live as well. So before we begin, let me just ask you, how is the weather right now where you live? What's the temperature? Is it raining? Is it sunny? Tell us a little bit about the weather where you are. So let's start with Gabriela. Why don't you tell us about the weather where you live?
Hi, I live in Guadalajara, and the weather is cloudy.
Okay. Right. Is it warm or cold right now? Right. Is it warm or cold right now?
Right now it's cloudy.
Okay, cloudy. Okay, a little cold too, maybe. All right, thank you, Gabriela. Giang, what about where you are? What's the weather like?
Well, I'm from Vietnam, and now it's night, and the weather is a bit cold.
Cold. All right, excellent. Thank you. And Thuy, what about where you are? How is the weather where you are?
I'm from Vietnam, the south of Vietnam, and right now it's raining, a little bit cold. Maybe I need a blanket when I sleep.
Oh, okay. All right, excellent. Thank you. And Trung, what about where you are? How's the weather?
Yes, I also from Vietnam in Ho Chi Minh City, and in Ho Chi Minh City is raining, and the weather is cold now. I think just a little cold, not too cold.
Yeah. Excellent, thank you. And Stephanie, what about where you are? How's the weather?
I live in Cabo City, Brazil. The weather is hot and sunny.
Okay. All right, excellent. Very good, very good. Yeah, where I live, it's cold and cloudy. I think it's maybe about 4 degrees right now. So a little cold. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me share my screen and we can read and talk about Germany winter weather. Like I said, it's just a short little article, very short. So what we'll do is we'll all read it, we'll all practice it. And like I said, we'll continue discussing the weather where we live. Different preferences about weather. So Gabriela, would you start us off and please read the article for us?
Large parts of Germany were hit by heavy rain and snowfalls on Monday, November 7, 2018.
16, good.
2016.
Good,
Sorry.
good. No problem, no problem, no problem. Excellent, thank you, Gabriela. And Jian, would you also please read for us?
Yes, large parts of Germany were hit by heavy rain and snowfalls on Monday, November 7, 2016.
Excellent, very good, thank you. Thuy, would you also please read for us?
Okay, Germany winter weather. Large parts of Germany were hit by heavy rain and snowfalls on Monday, November 7th, 2016.
Right, excellent, thank you. Trung, would you read for us?
Yes. A large part of Germany were hit by heavy rains and snowfalls on Monday, November 7th, 2016.
Very good, thank you, Trung. And Stephanie, would you also please read for us?
Larger parts of Germany were hit by heavy rain and snowfall on Monday, November 7, 2016.
Thank you, Stephanie. Very good, everyone. Okay, so let's just talk about this a little bit, and then we'll continue our discussion. So it says large parts of Germany. So Gabriela, was all of Germany? Did all of Germany have bad weather, or was it only some parts of Germany?
And some parts.
Yeah, just some parts. A lot of it, but not everything, not the whole country. And what was the problem, Gabriela?
Oh,
What was the
I
problem?
don't know.
No, that's okay.
I don't
That's
know.
okay. That's okay. Jian, why don't you tell us what was the problem in Germany?
All Germany were hit by heavy rain and snowfalls.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They were hit by heavy rain and snowfalls. So, Jian, what does it mean to be hit by heavy rain? Does that mean they had a lot of rain?
Yes. And a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Heavy
Yes.
rain.
A lot of rain and snow, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So the problem was they had what they call heavy rain, a lot of rain, and heavy snowfalls.
Maybe dangerous.
Yes, it can be. Absolutely. Yeah. It can lead to flooding, and then lots of snowfalls. It's not safe to drive in the snow, for example. Of course, this was a couple years ago, but yeah. All right. Before we continue, if there are any questions about any of the words or phrases in this article, please let me know. But if not, like I said, I want to discuss weather where you live. So here we just read about winter weather in Germany. I'd like to know how winter weather is where you live. So Thuy, why don't you tell us, how is winter weather where you live?
Actually, I live in the south of Vietnam, and we have only two seasons, dry season and rainy season, and we don't have the winter snow.
Well, no, okay, maybe you don't have winter snow, but for example, is winter the rainy season or is winter the dry season?
Winter is the end of the rainy season.
Okay, it's the end of the rainy season.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Oh, all right. All right, thank you, Thuy. Trung, I think you are also in the south of Vietnam, if I remember correctly. Why don't you tell us what is the usual temperature in winter in Vietnam or in the south of Vietnam?
Me?
Yeah. What's the temperature usually, Trung, in winter?
Yes. Because in the south in Vietnam.
Well,
Giang, you
Yeah, in the
talk?
south of Vietnam.
Teacher asked me.
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah, what's the temperature in winter in Vietnam, in the south?
So in the south Vietnam, we don't have the winter. We just have the two seasons. In one season is the raining, and one season is the hot. And but in the coldest in the south Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, it's just about 20 degrees. But in the north, sometimes in the snow in Vietnam, it's called in Hanoi, and it's in the snow. In the winter, the temperature maybe will about 0 degree, and it's very cold. And the first time when because my wife from in the north, and the first time I go to the north, and it's very cold, and I can stand, and when I put my foot in my house in the house, it's crazy because the temperature is very cold. About just about I think that I remember it's about more than about 15 degree, but it's very cold because in Ho Chi Minh City in the south the weather I think the low is just 20 degree, and I think uh, the temperature come normal in the in the south just about 30 degree.
Wow, so a big difference between the north and the south.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Trung. Yeah, very interesting. Stephanie, what is winter weather like in Brazil?
It's the winter is I don't know to speak. Sorry.
Try to explain. I know in winter it's usually similar to Vietnam, maybe not very cold, right?
I usually is hot and sunny. A little winter.
Okay, just a little bit. And in Brazil, when is winter?
Is June, July, August only.
Okay, June, July, and August for winter.
Yeah.
Okay. And Stephanie, do you live in the north of Brazil or in the south of Brazil?
I live in Nordeste. I don't. How can I say in English? How I
like
don't know to speak in English. Nordeste.
Okay, I think that's right. Okay, excellent. All right. And Stephanie, what is the temperature? How many degrees in winter in Brazil?
Different states varies. In here, Pernambuco states about 38 degrees, 39 degrees.
Wow. Okay. So very warm. Very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very warm.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Very good.
Thank you.
And Gabriela, what about where you live? What is the winter weather like?
In Guadalajara, everyone is hot, and December is cold, but everyone is hot.
Really? Still, everyone is hot.
Yes.
How many degrees, for example, in winter is it?
Oh, 20
about.
degrees?
Yeah. How many degrees Celsius?
20?
20. Okay.
Degrees?
Yeah.
But in September it's raining.
Oh, okay. So September is the rainy season.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Gabriela. All right. And I'm sure, Jiang, it's very similar, like we've heard earlier, that you only have the wet or the dry season. There's really no winter, right?
Yes.
So it seems like everyone, well, most people here have a pretty warm winter. So let's then talk about summer then. Summer should be much different for everyone here. So Jiyoung, how is summer where you live?
Well, summer is so hot. The temperatures during Summer range from 25 to 40 degrees.
Yeah, big range.
Yes. We always feel hot in the summer, and I think the seasons in South Vietnam is hotter than the summer in North Vietnam.
Okay. So yeah, southern Vietnam is just always warmer, always warmer. All right, excellent. Thank you. So, Thuy, what about in South Vietnam? Is it very humid? Is there a lot of water in the air?
Yeah. No. To be honest, the summer in south of Vietnam is so hot and dry.
Really, it's dry.
Yep. The temperature is from 32 Celsius to 40 Celsius. And the air conditioner supplier become rich.
Can understand that. Okay. But really, okay, it's dry. I always imagined it was humid, but no, it's dry.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer dry over humid myself, so at least that's good. Excellent. And Trung, what are the differences in summer between North and South Vietnam?
Because I just go to the snow one time in the winter, and I don't spend in the summer, and I cannot compare the season in the snow in the south.
Okay, but it's probably a little bit colder then, right? Probably maybe a few degrees colder than the South Vietnam.
Yes, because in Vietnam, in the south, we just have two seasons, hot and raining. But in the north, they have two 4 seasons clearly. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, they experience 4 seasons in the north, whereas in the south you only have 2.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, wow, that is really interesting. All right, thank you, Trung. All right, so Stephanie, where you live in Brazil, how is the summer weather?
Yeah, it's summer weather.
Very hot in summer? Yeah. How many degrees, for example, in summer? 39, 40, around there?
About 30, 48, 49, various.
Okay. And what about when it's hot? Is it dry weather or is it very humid weather?
Very, very hot. Very, very hot.
Does it feel dry? Is it dry heat? Or is there a lot of water in the air? Very humid.
I don't understand the question.
So there's 2 kinds of heat that we talk about. We have dry heat, like, for example, if you're in the desert, this is dry heat. In the United States, like Arizona, dry heat, very dry. I think northern Mexico also is very dry. But if you go south more, even in the United States, like Florida, it's hot and it's very humid. So in the air, water everywhere. Your face, there's water always. Always. It's a horrible, horrible place to live, I think. because it's so humid. You go outside and you are wet, very wet. That's humid. So yeah, so how is it where you are?
It is dry.
Okay.
Very dry.
Okay.
Hot, sunny, dry.
Okay, I understand. All right. Well, I think, like I said, I prefer dry over humidity. I think humidity is very bad because maybe it's 35 degrees, but with 80% humidity, it feels like 42. It feels hotter. Yeah, I think it's bad. Gabriela, what about where you are? How is the summer?
Summer. Oh, summer.
Summer is very hot.
Yes.
At what
For example-
temperature?
For example, in Cancun is so hot.
Yeah, how hot? How many degrees do you think? Like 35, 30?
30.
Okay, 30.
When I go to Michoacan, it's very cold.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so Michoacan is much colder than Cancun.
Yes.
And is it very dry or is it very humid?
And Cancun is very dry.
And what about Michoacan? Is Michoacan dry or humid?
It's dry.
Dry.
Yes.
But some parts of Mexico are humid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like which part of Mexico is humid? Do you know?
Yes. For example, Puerto Vallarta. I don't remember.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But Puerto Vallarta is humid. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. All right, thank you, Gabriela. Excellent.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we have a couple minutes left. I think we have enough time for one more question. One more question. We'll make it easy. What is your favorite weather? Okay. What is the perfect weather for you? Maybe it's one temperature. Maybe you want to have 4 different seasons. Like the perfect weather for me, I like 4 seasons. Where I lived for a long time, it was like Vietnam. We had 2 seasons. We had very hot, and then we just had warm. Now where I live, I have 4 seasons. I like 4 seasons. I think it's nice. But Jiang, what's the perfect weather for you? What do you think is the best for you?
Well, I think I'm pretty keen on summer in Vietnam. And in summer I can swim. I can I have a summer holiday, so I don't have to go to school.
I can understand that, definitely. And yeah, then when it's hot, yeah, swimming is fun. Doing lots of activities can be fun when it's hotter outside. So, all right, thank you. Excellent. And holiday's the best. All right. All right, and Thuy, what about for you? What's the perfect weather for you?
For me, I love 2 seasons in my country. Because in the raining season, I think it's romantic, and and in the dry season, I can hang out with my family. Yeah, a lot of reason to love 2 seasons.
All right, excellent. No, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Good answer. Trung, what's the perfect weather for you?
Yes. My perfect weather for me, I like the weather not too hot, not too cold. I think the temperature about 20 about 20 degrees is okay for me. And I also don't like to raining because it's wet. It makes me wet. And yes, and I like. I think it's 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 difficult happen in Vietnam, but sometimes someday the temperature like that and the weather like that, and I enjoy that.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Yeah, I know. Comfortable weather. Very comfortable, I think.
Yes.
Thank you, Trump. All right. And Stephanie, what's your perfect weather?
My perfect weather is winter. For stay at home, but to go to work, I prefer sunny.
No, okay, I understand. Yeah. If you want to be at home, there's one weather, and if you want to go outside, of course, yeah, you prefer a different weather. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. Okay. All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
thanks.
And Gabriela, what's your perfect weather?
My preferred weather is raining because when I go to my mother's house, she prepared hot chocolate for me, for mine.
Oh, for you. Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. I can understand that. All right. Good answer, too. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Well, we are coming here towards the end of the lesson. Let me bring back our short little article that we read. Once again, if there's any questions about any words or phrases in this article, or about anything that we talked about today, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer any questions. But if not, we'll just quickly review what we did. So we read about the Germany winter weather and what happened in there in 2016. And then we just continued and discussed weather where we live. We talked about our winter weather, if we have winter at all. We talked about our summer weather. And then we also talked about the weather that's perfect for us. We also talked about some of the differences in the weather in your countries. You know, some in countries, obviously the north can be colder or can be more humid or less humid, dry, depending on where you are. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming today. It was nice to talk about the weather and learn about the weather in different parts of the world. So thank you so much for coming and participating. And I hope to see you again soon in another lesson.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
you, teacher.
Thank you.
Yeah, goodbye.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
See you.
See you later.